But what I do want to tell you is kudos, my friend. Bravo to you in the way that you are parenting and loving your nephews. Just who is Malcolm M.J. Harris? Let's find out in his own words.
Your legacy is not just built on how much money you make. Your legacy is built on how many lives you can help change. If my focus is on helping people, if I can keep my focus on that and I can make an incredible living in the process, then there really is no limit to my success. I grew up in a lower income household, and early on in my life I said, I'm going to change my life so I can live differently than how I grew up. But I also said that when I am able to change my life, I'm not just going to change my life and just say, oh well, everyone else can figure it out. I want to change my life and then use my life as sort of a roadmap to be able to show other people how they can do the same thing. And that's my mission in life, to be a platform that can help people to change their lives by creating a legacy.
That brings us to the reason for today's episode. We're going to look at a clip from his online series, Life with MJ. It appears that MJ has begun raising two of his teenage nephews. He's navigating the role change from uncle to father figure. This is a masterclass in both parenting and breaking generational curses. As a child, MJ was surrounded by abuse and drugs. He is a survivor in every sense of the word. He is also a domestic violence survivor. So he comes into this challenge from a traumatized background. Let's get into it.
Hello. Yes, we're still awake. Very much so awake.
Good.
Yeah, because remember when you asked me to be up for dinner? When you asked me to set aside time for dinner, that means I can do things I need to do. So now I got to sit up here and be up late. Why are you late? It's almost 1 o'clock. You supposed to be here at midnight.
I texted your phone.
Marco, when did you text my phone? Hold on.
I texted your phone. I told
when
you.
When did you text my phone?
I told you I was gonna be late.
You text my phone at 11:55, Marco. 11:55. You supposed to be here at 12, and so you text me this late. DJ, you can head upstairs. You can head upstairs.
Why are you tripping right now?
And why am I tripping?
I'm just saying.
Why am I tripping? Marco, you told me 5 minutes in advance, and what was it about you being on time? A curfew is just something that's supposed to be pushed back when you decide to? What's the purpose of a curfew?
Why are you tripping?
Because this is the 4th time it's happened.
No, this not. This has not happened multiple times.
This happened a week ago, Marco. This is the 4th time this happened.
The 4th?
The 4th.
No, this is not the 4th time this happened.
So how many times has it happened?
I'm not even.
How many times has it happened?
Every single time a girl comes around, you always want to trip.
Every single time you have an issue. Every single time you break curfew. Every single time. Hold on real fast. And you won't listen to me today. No, yes you are. I swear to God you will. Every single time. You think you big and grown? Every single time there's a girl coming around, you got these issues. You say, why am I tripping? The fact is you don't know how to handle yourself and how to conduct yourself. That's the bottom line.
I want you to know I argue.
Oh, look, let me tell you something. Back in the day, I wish I would call myself running from somebody. My mother would not have had that. That would have been my last run. Period. Full stop. Now, what I want to point out here is how MJ handled that. There was no point in this exchange where I saw him triggered. I never saw him pull the rank card, which, I'm in charge and I'm your daddy and you do what I say. He did not focus on the fact that his nephew was running away. Okay? Now, that would have been a whole thing, a whole situation if I would have run, because then the whole thing would have been turned from the matter at hand to you better not disrespect me. By not taking that position of you better not disrespect me, MJ stayed focused on the matter at hand. What did he do? He just followed his hiney. Nephew, you don't want to deal with the realities. You want to hocus pocus, change the focus, and this is too much heat for you, so you want to run away? Not on my watch. He just followed him. Now, in the next clip, you're going to see that MJ stays focused on the matter at hand.
No. Hold on real fast.
I don't think you understand that. I know the type of girls I'm bringing around.
You bringing around these type of girls then in the first place.
I already know.
And what type of girls are they?
Oh, we already know this. Just
I'm asking you.
Okay.
I'm asking you, what kind of girls are they? You claim you so smart.
I am
So what kind of
smart.
girls are they?
I know the type of
No, honey, because I'm worried about seeing
finna-
you simping out here because
I'm not. How am I simping?
Because this girl obviously wants money. This girl obviously
Don't you think I know that?
Then why are you
Don't you
dealing
think
with
I
her?
know that?
Then why would you deal with her?
Because I just want to get to know her.
What does that mean, Marco? Be real.
I just
What
want
does
to
that
get
mean? You just want to get to know
I
her.
just want to get.
Be honest. What does that mean to get to know her? What does it mean to get to know her?
You already know. I'm not finna explain. You already know what I'm talking about.
Let me ask you this. You grown?
I'm not saying
You grown?
I am grown, but I'm not saying
let's have a real conversation for a second. Let's have a real conversation, man to man.
All right, what's up?
You don't want no future with her, right?
I don't. Yeah, there's no future.
You just
I'm
want
not
right
planning.
now with
I just
her.
want
You
right
want
now.
right
I
now
want you
with
to
her.
know that. I feel like the sense that we got in there. I want you to. I feel like you think that I'm trying to go beyond what I'm trying to do today. That's not the case. I just want to have fun with her tonight. I just want to get to know her.
Have fun with
I just
her.
want to have. You already
Marco.
know this.
I did,
You've
and
been
that's-
through
and
this.
that's
I'm
the
pretty sure you've
problem.
been through this before.
The difference is I couldn't get pregnant, and now nobody
Oh
else would
my
get pregnant.
gosh.
That's the
Have I
big
got a
difference.
girl pregnant yet? Have I got a girl
Yet is
pregnant
the
yet?
key word.
Have I got a girl
Yet is the key
pregnant?
word. Do you understand that a lot of these young men who are sitting out here with babies, I did not plan for it?
I'm
That
smarter
they thought they were smart too.
Have I got a girl pregnant yet? Have I got a
19,
girl
Marco,
pregnant
it's
yet?
a long runway ahead.
Oh
You ain't even took off yet.
gosh.
Okay?
Again, what did MJ do? He kept it on the matter at hand. And every time nephew talked about he knew something, just want to get to know her, he drilled in. MJ drilled in. What are you saying? Explain that. What do you mean? This was a ploy to make the young man think about what he was saying. More than that, MJ kept drilling down so that this young man could dig deeper underneath what he kept saying. So, to translate, he just wanted to sleep with this girl. Now, at any freaking cost, okay? He knew what kind of girl she was. He indicated that he understood that she was probably trying to get to his money and the things that he has, that it wasn't even about her caring about him as a person. They had just met. They didn't really know each other as a person. So what nephew was saying is that I just want to sleep with this girl. Don't you think I know that she ain't top of the line or whatever way you want to put that? But MJ, in the middle of this, again, laser focused on the matter at hand. And this is the challenge that we traumatized people have. We get triggered. We're too ashamed. We're not even understanding why the situation at hand has us caught up. But we are so caught up that in the middle of a teachable moment with our children, we are totally incapable. Triggered to the max, triggers taken over, emotions front and center, and we don't allow the progression, and we don't truly listen to the children because we're pulling rank. I said so, do it because I said so, and barking directions. Now, maybe to some extent when kids are younger, but we're dealing with a teenager, somebody like, I think that nephew is 19, and what we have here is MJ straight up dealing with this young teenager on a man-to-man level. Why is that important? Because he's trying to make a man. He's trying to develop a man. This is perfect. You will note in the next clip, I want you to pay attention to how MJ listens. Note how he listens. He's got plenty to say. He's drawing the boundaries. But when he says what he says, he's coming straight from a place of total authenticity. And he's coming from a place where he's not in the middle of a trigger, okay? Which lets me know that MJ has done some healing from his own past. But what I want you to pay attention to is how at the right time, he just shuts it down. He's clearly engaged eye to eye with his nephew, and he is actively listening to what the young man has to say.
Oh, come on,
Can somebody please give me a tissue?
Can you
Please.
shit? I don't want you to. I don't want you to cry.
You don't
I'm
understand
sorry.
this,
I
Marco.
understand. I
You don't understand
that.
this. No, what you don't understand is that's the problem. You think this is just a game. You think this is just a game. And what you don't understand is that this is your future. And that's what I'm afraid of. You can tell me I'm being unreasonable. You can tell me I'm being whatever it is you think I want, that you think I'm being. But the bottom line is this, is that your future can fall apart with you making the wrong choice. And you don't see that. And I'm fighting like hell for your future. And I've never raised a 19-year-old. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm doing the absolute best that I can. And maybe I'm being overbearing. Maybe I'm being controlling. Maybe I should loosen up. I don't know what I should do. But what I do know is that when I see that kind of stuff, you're talking about, well, I just want to have fun with her. There are young women to have fun with who have more to lose than she evidently does. If someone has less to lose than you, then they will take everything from you. You believe me when I tell you that. If you want to have fun, fine, be 19. I'm not here to tell you what to do and what not to do. Be a human. I did. God knows I did. But the bottom line is this. Find a young woman who's got less to lose than you. Let me just tell you this, okay? She popped up in this house dressed like that. Dressed like that. She coming around me acting like that. She don't even respect you enough to at least have some decorum. And she can at least have some dignity when she's in my presence.
Okay, what did we see here? How do I unpack this? First of all, this is called a master class in parenting through trauma. Total transparency, total authenticity, total coming from the heart. He was real with this nephew. He was so hurt. He said, I'm fighting like hell for your future. Let me tell you why that's a powerful thing in this matter. Nephew, 19 years old or so. We used to think that by the age of 18, that the brain was fully developed enough for teenagers to make sound life decisions, sound daily decisions. The research has shown that nephew's not going to even be there. His full frontal lobe development is not even going to be complete until he's 25. 25. So at 19, you're not connecting the dots. You're not even capable from a brain physiological standpoint of making sound decisions based on sound judgment, because you don't have the capability just strictly from a physiological standpoint. And so what MJ is doing is, okay, you're not there yet, so let me put you on game. Let me tell you, I'm fighting for your future. I cannot tell you how powerful that is for MJ to be in this young man's life right now at this point in his life. You note that MJ said, God knows I did. He's telling the past. He's not clamped down on the past to the point where he is ashamed and stuffing stuff. That's what trauma does to us. All my fellow trauma survivors out here, you already know There's a lot of stuff that if you haven't healed enough yet to be able to talk about, there's a lot of stuff that you don't talk about. And if anybody broaches that subject, you're going to go off and fly off on some emotional tangent because you aren't ready. But when you're parenting through trauma and trying to break generational traumatic patterns, you have got to heal enough and got to be able to use that to the point where you can be upfront and honest with this teenage young man, in this case, that, yeah, I made those mistakes. It's not about, again, the power play. The power play never worked with me growing up. You do what I say because I said do it, and I don't want to hear nothing back. Not even the fact that you didn't do it, because now you alibi Ike. This is what I got from my mother. And MJ's not doing that. He's being totally forthcoming. This young man has come from, talking about MJ, he's come from a traumatic past. He has even had, as I said in the introduction, domestic violence in his past. He's been the victim of domestic violence. And so he is obviously processed all of that enough that he can come straight from the heart with this young nephew. See, it's that straight from the heart communication that changes lives. What did MJ say early on when I did the introduction on him? His whole basic meaningful reason for being is to change lives, to tell others how to leave a legacy. That is clearly one of his defining values, one of his personal values that he clearly has front and center in his life, whether that's in his professional life or his personal life. And because he's all about legacy, all about helping others, that's so real in this man that is playing out in his relationship with his nephew. Now you got to understand, what did he say? He said, I don't know, I've never raised a 19-year-old. I don't know, you might want to say I'm being overbearing, being controlling, whatever. You can say what you want to say, regardless of the fact that I may not have any experience here. One thing I'm standing on, and that's without compromise, is that I'm fighting for your future. Powerful stuff, because this young man's incapable from a physiological and developmental perspective. He's got his uncle daddy, and yes, uncle/daddy, right there on his side. Trust me, it's evident to me in this exchange that he has developed a relationship with this nephew. And it's only once we have developed a relationship that we are able to intervene in these things. At no point in the next clips are you going to see him compromising that. MJ ain't compromising that. There's going to come times I'm going to have to tell you, whoa, nope, not doing this today. But again, what he has been doing is he is clearly listening to this young man. That's going to become even more evident coming up.
I just want to let you know, man, I ain't mean for this to happen. I truly understand where you're coming from now, but I just wanted to be honest, I just wanted to have fun, you know. I bring her over because I just wanted to have fun with it. It's been like these last couple weeks been stressful for me, you know, just coming here. Now I'm starting to get to meet people, and I'm just trying to have fun at this point, you know. It's like I've been a little down, and I honestly just wanted somebody to help me make me feel good. You know.
I know you've been down. I know you've been down. But I need you to understand this. Don't make her into your drug, where you just using her to make you feel good. That's not right for her. And the problem is there's real consequences. And one of the real consequences is you get caught up. I know it's been hard to be away from home. I know that. I know it's been hard to be away from home. I know it's been difficult being in a new place. I know that.
It's so hard, So hard.
Listen to me when I tell you this, okay? Listen, I'm here to support you. I'm not here to block you from nothing. I'm in your corner. I'm in your corner every step of the way, okay? But there's some times where I can see blind spots that you can't see. You understand when I say that?
Yeah.
And this is one of those moments. I don't think she's a young woman you want to play with, honey. Find other playmates. She ain't one of them. Okay? Listen to me when I tell you this. You know why I want you to be in the house before a certain time with somebody like her? It's because the fact is I saw what was in her eyes. And when she looks at you, she doesn't see the young man who I know is going to go to the stars. She sees somebody with a bag. She sees someone in a nice house. She sees all those things she pointed out to you. And my thing is, you know what? I could say, well, you're 19, do what you want to do. But I'm not going to stand on the sidelines like that. Let somebody else's parents do that. I'm not doing that. I'm not standing on the sidelines just watching a mistake happen. So you do what you do. But there are going to be times where I have to step in and tell you no. Now what we need to work on is how we can find you some activities to do that build you up, that allow you to feel more like yourself again. Listen. Come here.
Fucking sorry, man.
I know. What we need to do is find some things that's going to allow you to feel good. Listen.
It's hard.
We saw so much there. Because MJ was determined to stay focused on the matter at hand, because he had developed a relationship with this nephew, because he clearly let the nephew know that he was hearing him, he was able to relay the truth that that young nephew couldn't see. Yeah, okay, you're telling me you know what kind of woman she is, and that's fine with you because you just want to sleep with her. What I'm telling you is I see what you can't see. And sometimes I'm going to have to step in here. And that's exactly, again, without compromise, MJ. But MJ was so authentic and so forthcoming that he navigated the whole exchange until it got straight to the core of the emotion that was driving his nephew to make these bad decisions. What did he do? He stayed focused through all of the noise, all the hocus pocus, changed the focus, and he brought that thing down to where his nephew could break down. Power. He was able to break down because he trusts his uncle father. He was able to break down because his uncle father modeled that emotion before him. He was able to break down because he knows MJ well enough, regardless of whether he likes what he's hearing from MJ or not. He knows MJ well enough that he knows that he can just break down and be vulnerable himself. His uncle has modeled that. And what do we have here? We have a young man who's struggling with a life change and feeling kind of scared and lost and overwhelmed by that. And his uncle was masterful enough to bring this whole encounter to a point where that young man got through it and down to the emotion. And then what did MJ do? He embraced him. He affirmed him. He acknowledged that pain and comforted nephew by letting him know that, yeah, I see that. I understand that you're dealing with these things. Then at the end, he gave him some powerful advice. So in other words, he can see things in this young lady that his nephew did not see. So what I've learned about MJ, and I've just found this guy in the last week or so, but what I've learned about MJ, he has a strong internal intuition, and he can read people and see them coming. Now, The reason he has such a keen discernment like that is because of the healing he's come through, the way he has addressed and faced his past trauma. Because I've said over and over again to my fellow trauma survivors that that trauma will shut down your intuition to the point where you totally always question and ignore your gut. MJ has healed enough that as this nephew's parent, he's able to utilize that and express that. Yeah, I've done that, but we're not going to do this here. I'm admitting that I used to use people to make myself feel better, but that's not fair to this young lady. That's not fair at all. And he's going to train his nephew a different way. Then finally, he brings it around, and now we've got to find some other healthy activities to build you up. To build you up. Now, in the next clip, he brings it all home. Let's listen to that.
It's hard, Unc. I just want to let you know, like, and I didn't mean to be disrespectful how I was to you, because I know, like, at the end of the day, your intentions was to allow me to, like, to not be hurt. And I just want to let you know I'm grateful for that, you know, but it's just been hard for me personally, just, you know, just adjusting to being out here, just being alone, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, I got all this. I work so hard.
You do work hard.
You know, I'm doing my thing at such a young age, and at this point, I'm just like, it's something that felt good. You know, like, it feels good, but I know that, like, I'm being taken advantage of. And
all company ain't good company. Can I share this with you? Listen, I went through a time in my life. I went through a time in my life too where I used people for my fun and my outlet, and I made a lot of mistakes. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. That means that to whom much is given, much is required, and you got a big life ahead of you. And that means sometimes you're gonna have some tough moments where you may feel alone because you're working so hard towards your future, but you won't regret this. Okay? Take some time off. Why don't you take off the rest of the week? Find some things that's fun for you, okay? But understand this, you're not gonna fix what you're feeling by just momentary experiences that could wreck your future, okay? Remember this, leaders make decisions for tomorrow, all right? That's why you're a leader, because you make decisions for tomorrow. Don't sacrifice tomorrow for today. Do you hear me? I love you, and I'll be as supportive as I can, all right?
you too.
I love you.
I love you, and I'll be as supportive as I can. That's heart right there. That's heart right there. That's the ability to come to see. We get so shut down in our hearts as trauma survivors that I'm just going to speak for me. It rendered me completely incapable of being a decent parent on any stinking level. Okay? Family members wound up raising my kids, but you have to look at some of the past videos or look at the book Whose Apple Is It Anyway? Right here, in order to know all of the stuff that I went through that led to that. But my kids were blessed enough to be raised by family members when I was totally incapable because of the trauma that I'd been through and had not dealt with. Now, let me tell you this. You'll have to go to MJ's channel, and I put a link below to his channel, to the video that I took the clips from here, and then to the video that became before that where the young lady came to dinner. And she was not really dressed appropriately or anything, but what I saw in that young lady was who I used to be. Totally clueless, walking around here, probably improperly dressed. I'll tell you, story time. Back in 1980, I was working for the federal government in Chicago, and I was all toe up from the flow up on every possible level. And I went out one night, and this guy called me a B because I didn't want to dance with him, and I was carrying a blade back then, so I called myself being Miss Bad, gonna jump off the table, pull a blade on him. Long story short, they kicked his butt out, okay? And I remember relaying this incident to some girls at work, and I remember saying something like, why do I keep attracting these knuckleheads? And the answer came so quickly, because that's how you carry yourself. Now, I knew in the moment that there was some truth in that, some deep truth in that, but it would be decades before it clicked for me. So this young lady, I understand we have to know that we can't be what we haven't seen. And I don't know what her familial situation is, but MJ has spot on intuition and insight into human beings. And he saw that, oh no, this is not going to be good right here. Of course, his nephew didn't want to see that, but for all of the reasons previously stated, this exchange was handled stellarly. Now, there's a difference, just to clarify, because I think I misspoke much earlier in this video. There's a difference between breaking generational curses, which my Christian and church-going friends will understand what that means in the church. That's some kind of a spiritual dynamic that can come down through generations. I'm not qualified to speak on that. But the other thing is, there's a difference between breaking generational curses and breaking generational trauma. And what we have just seen in the clips that I've shared with you is MJ Harris modeling a master class in how to parent through trauma and how to break generational trauma. Yes, that young man was struggling in his emotions. He doesn't know why he's making decisions like that. It took the skilled parenting of MJ for him even to break down and deal with the emotion that was driving all of that. Okay? But by virtue of the fact that his uncle is modeling authenticity, wisdom, and guidance before this young man, whatever trauma he's ever experienced in life will stop with him, because he's got an adult in the room who has been there, done that, and has healed enough to be a powerful father figure in his life. Now, a special message to you, MJ. Listening to some of your videos, I understand that once somebody saw the video from which these clips came, that they've come talking to you about, no, you need to do this, you need to do that. They've raised so many kids, yada, yada, and they're trying to school you in some stuff. Well, you took that with a grain of salt. You took that with a grain of salt and like, whatever, okay? Wise man. Because what we have to understand out here is that you can raise a bunch of kids and raise a bunch of kids wrong if you raising them while you in the middle of some kind of serious trauma that you haven't healed from. So it's not about how many kids a son of a gun raises. I know I don't have to tell you that, MJ. But what I do want to tell you is kudos, my friend. Bravo to you in the way that you are parenting and loving your nephews. Whatever you've done in order to heal from your past trauma, hallelujah. Because the way you handled this situation in these clips, stellar. God bless you. I will be praying for you to be safe and sound, and for God to continue to bless you in all the ways it matters most. Because whatever reason these nephews are in your life right now, that's God orchestrated. Don't you ever believe that that's by accident. The timing of this, God orchestrated, because all of the destiny you see in your nephew is coming straight out of the heart of an immutable God, and destiny cannot deny any of us. It's etched in spiritual and universal stone. It's etched in eternal stone because it comes out of the heart of that immutable God. And that shall be what your nephews will both see in their lives. God bless you for being a catalyst to that. I hope one day I get to meet you. I would be more than honored. I just found out about you a week or less ago, and I am totally engaged, my friend. I certainly hope we'll see more of these episodes coming from you. I appreciate what I know to be true, the authenticity of who you are, your values and your focus in life, in your business and in your personal life are undeniable. And the fact that you have determined that that's the path you're going to walk regardless of anything that happens is just a perfect example of how all of us trauma survivors should begin to live our lives. I'm Dr. Linda F. Williams, and you know what I'm getting ready to say. Always remember, your greatest power is realizing the truth of who you are. Know that truth. Okay, you guys, talk me up. Talk me up. Share the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also consider the membership below. Just hit the join button.